Alright, what is going on, everyone? Carson with the competitive 1v1 Commander podcast, and today we're going to be talking about the Commander 1v1 metagame and the competitive decks. So I'm just on MTG Goldfish and some of the tournament results on MTG Top 8, and it's looking like partner commanders are still very strong. 30% of the meta is Crom, Ludovic's Opus, and Thrasios as partners. So Teamer, already good. Emrakul Promised Ends in the deck, so control their turn, which is great. It just runs all kinds of crazy things like the Mox Diamond and Mox Chrome Mox. Umezawa's Jite, which is a great card. One of my favorite equipments. Crucible of Worlds, replay your fetches and stuff like that. Some of the staples in the deck. Runs 40 lands. So this, you can already tell, is going to be really good. Like, insanely good. Runs all the on-color fetches. You never have to worry about fixing. It's kind of a control deck with a little touch of, like, ramp and... It's mid-range. It's a mid-rangey, just like most of the partner decks. One of my favorites, Brea. Pretty much an affinity deck. But also control the elements, like 8 planeswalkers in most of the decks. Like Lilies and Jace, Mind Sculptor, obviously in every blue deck. And these decks, 4-color decks, are just still really good. And this one's probably one of the best ones because you can just make a ton of Thopters and you just gain 5 life and they can't really kill you in 1v1. It's really difficult. Baral's on here, but Baral was banned fairly recently. Leovold. Leovold is a really annoying commander that I do not enjoy playing against or even enjoy playing. Because you just lock your opponents out. Sultai control. / mid-range. More control-y. Only a couple of creatures for ramp and Oracle of Moldiah. Play extra lands. Ramanat Excavator. Pretty much just ramp stuff. And a really, really control-y shell. And we have the Thrasios partner commander list. Normally Thrasios is partnered with Tymna. One of the locals at my shop that I play with runs this deck. He has it like almost foiled out and it's like $5,000. It's ridiculous. He's got like a foil Italian Dark Confidant and foil Baleful Strix in it. It's kind of crazy. Bunch of the hand attack. Green Sun Zenith. Definitely more of a mid-range strategy, but you win with your commanders most of the time, it looks like. Winter Orb in the deck, so it's got some control in it. Because it has all of these ramps, like Fyndhorn Elves, Elvish Mystics, Deathray Shaman, not a ramp, but good. Birds, Dryad Arbor, Avacyn's Pilgrim, all kinds of ramp stuff in the deck. And he's running a very similar list, I know. And it's really expensive because it's got dual lands in it and stuff, and it's a great list to run. And recently, this Narset list has been popping up. It's not really Narset Storm. It's more Narset Control. And I think I like it. It's pretty neat. It's an interesting list, and I don't see it around in my shop, or in my local area at all. But, could be really sweet, and I was thinking about building this list. Me and my friend Kenny were thinking about building this list. Got a bunch of take an extra turn cards, got Grim Monolith, Felwar Stone, all of the ramp, a lot of ramp. Search for Escanto, which is really interesting. That's in standard right now, and that is, I think, is the reason why it's so expensive. And I do feel like J-Sprint's Prodigy and Leovold are kind of the overrated ones on this list that I'm looking at. Like, Jace is up to $20 now. It's got Emrakul, Promised End, obviously, Snapcaster Mage. Mono blue control, 50 spells in the deck, 40 lands, and like 4 artifacts. And it's just straight control. Just straight control. Yeah, the only piece of Power 9 in this deck is Time Twister. That's what makes it covers like more than half the cost of the deck. I think the way you win is pretty much with Ugin Spirit Dragon, Teferi, Emrakul, obviously. Those are kind of the main win conditions it's looking like. You flip Jace, really good. It's running a lot of good blue spells. Just might as well just call the deck like blue good stuff. That's what the deck is. It's just all the good blue spells in a deck that are legal. All the good, because like there's Time Warp and a lot of things to give you extra turns, so you just kill someone with Emrakul. Really into the Royals on the deck? Alright, I'm just looking at deck lists that performed well at recent events. And Jace did really well. Nissa, the flip Nissa Vastwoodseer. This one is pretty much the opposite of the Jace one. It's just good green creatures. Primetime, Ulamog, Ceaseless Hunger, Emrakul. Those aren't green creatures, but they're good. Duplicate. Prowling Serpentard. That's good. That's a really good card, and it's in standard right now, so it's kind of cheap. Acidic Slime, just green good stuff. Really good looking deck. I'd play this. It's only $500, which is sounds like a lot, but for a 1v1 deck, it's not bad. Garruk Wildspeaker is really great. Oh man, I really like this list a lot. Bunch of ramp spells and stuff. One deck that one of my friends is working on is Galta, Primal Hunger, and that deck seems really nice. It's pretty much this list, but the commander is Galta, and you play her on turn 3, which is really good. Let's see, what else does this list have? Cavern of Souls, that makes sense, because elves. Okay. Oh yes, here is my favorite. This is the deck I'm working on right now. I do not like this version of the list at all. It's running cards that I do not think are that great. Like, I mean, Rivals of Ixalan hasn't released yet, so I understand why. Also, this deck's a lot cheaper. So, Commander's Edgar Markov. Whoever won this event is running Bold Impaler, which is, you pay 3, Bold Impaler gets 2/0 until end of turn, 1 mana, 1/2. Not that bad, but there's better. So there's 45 vampires in the entire deck. Everything's vampires except for one card. And that's, which card is that? There's one Brutal Horde Chief. And that's just because it's a really good card. Like, and it just helps, it synergizes really well. Stoneforge Mystic, even though there's only 2 equipments. For spells, this one's running Vindicate. Not really my style. Not really fond of Culligan's Command. I'm going to go over my Edgar list, but this has it's just pretty much black-red. Obelisk of Erd, which I replaced with the new Vampire Lord in my list, because the new Vampire Lord's great. 2 mana, 2/2, +1/+1 on all your vampires. Let me see. It's running Umezawa's Jeet, obviously, because it's a really good card. Goblin Bombardments in the deck has an alternate win con, which seems like it would make sense. I should have done that. Shared Animosity is just a crazy card. Outpost Siege, 4 mana, should have won by then, to be honest. Normal land base, running 9 of the fetches, Unclaimed Territory, Cavern Souls, dual lands, stuff like that. Falconwrath Gorger and Indulgent Aristocrat, really good vampires in this deck. Really synergize well. Because for each guy, most of these are 1-drops. Like, the curve is, like, averaged at, like, 2.2. I did the math, and, it's like 2.2. So for each dude you play, you get another dude. So turn 1, you have a land and, let's say, Chrome Mox, which this list isn't running, but mine is. You exile one of your, like, 6-drops with Chrome Mox. Actually, there is no 6-drops. You exile, like, a 1/1 that doesn't really matter that much, or one that has all your colors in it, like Brutal Horde Chief or something like that. You can tap for all 3 colors of that mana. You can make 2 vampires, or you can get 2 vampires or 1 vampire, and then you make 2 dudes with it, or another dude with it. So you're already way farther ahead. Like, I feel like Edgar's gonna get banned, but I don't want him to, because I've put a lot of money into that deck. So I'd be really sad. But, Dark Ritual and just good cards. Mono Dece. Let's see. Only a few more decks to go through here, so this is gonna be a rather quick episode. Tasigur. I did not know that Tasigur did that well. It's more of a controlling strategy, mid-range strategy. 9 creatures, it's got Deathrite Shaman, Baleful Strix, Jace Vin's Prodigy. Runs Leovold in the deck. Okay. Oracle of Moldiah, obviously. Street Wraith is good. And there's 73 spells. Hold on. I'm confused. It's got Crucible of Worlds, Jit, Chrome Mox. I think you just pretty much Voltron up Tasigur, because I don't really see any other win conditions. But let me look. Oh, it's running Ponder, that got banned. Ancestral Vision, okay. Force Spike. Yeah, this deck just seems like really decent instants and sorceries. That's the deck it looks like. It's got average mana base for what it is. Yeah, it just seems like Sultai control. That's what it is. There's 74 instants and sorceries in the deck. And here's the mono black deck. Mono black is great in anything. Just black is the best color in Magic. So it's got a few creatures, 7. It's got Sidisi Undead Vizier as the commander. Not the other Sidisi. And exploit's really good. So it's got like Walking Ballista, Dark Confidant, Necrotic Ooze. Emrakul. So I see a couple of win conditions for creatures. It's got Hand Attack, Duress, Thoughtseize, Ulcerate, Collective Brutality. I understand why it's so expensive. Diabolic Tutor, because all the other tutors are banned. Sign in Blood's good. I should be running that in Edgar. Let's see if there's any mana doublers or anything like that, because... Nothing crazy in the enchantments or artifacts, like, just ramp. So you can kind of kill somebody with Walking Ballista, probably. So that seems kind of good. Disfigure. Target creature gets a -2/-2 till end of turn. Really cheap kill spell, kind of like Fatal Push, but can kind of get around indestructible. Bruce Tarl. Partnered normally with Thrasios, I'm seeing, or Akiri Lineslinger. So you got kind of definitely more mid-rangey than these other lists that we've been looking at. Because these have either been straight aggro or straight control. This is kind of really mid-rangey compared to those. It still has a lot of spells, but that's because we're in blue. It's got ramp stuff. Nothing really crazy to win games, like Restoration Angel and... Wait, is Kiki in the deck? Okay, Kiki Jiki is not in the deck. But Restoration Angel still wins games. Grim Lavamancer wins games. It doesn't, but it can help. Nothing really crazy about this list. I'm not crazy about it. One of the last ones on here is Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. And this is just green good stuff again. And Ulamog and Emrakul and Worldbreaker. Good Eldrazi. Emrakul Aeonstorn's in here, got banned. Titania, Prowling Serpentard, Duskbotch Recruiter. A friend of mine built this deck for pot and 1v1. Sylvan Library. Earthling Pod, yes, okay. 58 lands. Kind of crazy. It's got snow-covered forests in it. This just seems like mono-green good stuff again. Kind of like the Nissa deck, but better stuff than the Nissa deck. I actually like this deck a lot more. And now I'm going to talk about some of the decks that I feel like should be in the meta, but are not. So, Atraxa should definitely be in the deck. Atraxa Infect. Crazy theme. Get Atraxa out on turn 4. Really good. Kalia would be okay, I feel like. I don't know. I'm going to come up with a budget list. Like, Phoenix could be good if you build it right. Like, $78 Phoenix list I just found I'm looking at. It seems okay. It seems like you could win the game. It's got, like, Mind Grind and Doomblade and stuff like that. I feel like it could win. But not compared to all these other really, really just large lists. Zerdy Enchantress banned in 1v1. Let's see. Could be some really good control lists other than mono blue or blue white. Like, I feel like there could be better things. Like, send triplets. I mean, maybe not in 1v1, but I definitely think you could make a really fun list with, like, maybe Rashmi. Brago, not really in 1v1. I don't feel like he could be good. Zombie lists, like, I feel like Scarab God or Mikaeus could be okay to run for a 1v1 list. But I don't know. I'm just going to go with the meta. I'm building Bolas. He's like 2% of the meta. In the next episode, we're going to go over my list. And kind of just see if you guys like it. Queen Marchesa, Mardu Control. I've seen really fun lists around her. But they're just not in, like, the top 20 decks right now. But I've seen some really awesome lists with Marchesa in them. So I'm going to pull up my deck list for the next episode. And I believe that is all the time we have for right now. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and turn on the bell so you know when we upload. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.